So we'll see the concept called as recurring invoice. So what does it mean by recurring invoice? Take example of utility bills. So you are getting the electricity bill and you have to pay. Every month you have to pay the electricity bill and some maintenance charges or any other charges or any other expense which we need to pay periodically. Okay, every month you have to pay, and every month you have to enter the same details in the system. Amount could be same or different, but details are same. To handle such kind of scenarios, instead of creating invoice every month with the same details, at a time you can create multiple invoices by using the recurring invoice. That means the invoices what we have to create periodically, those we can create by using the recurring invoice concept at a time. To create the recurring invoices in the system, first we have to create payables calendar. Create payables calendar. So we have accounting calendar, which we use across all the applications. Apart from that, we need to create separate calendar called as payables calendar. We may want to create invoices in the payables, so say recurring invoices in the payables monthly interval, but still you cannot use accounting calendar as a payables calendar for recurring invoice purpose. Separate payables calendar we have to create the recurring invoices. You may want to create with a different intervals. Those all you can meet with the payables calendar. After creating the payables calendar, we need to prepare the recurring invoice template. You can say create, or you can say just create a recurring invoice template. You can say create or prepare also here. Prepare recurring invoice template. What we prepare in the recurring invoice template, based on what data we want to create the recurring invoices. After preparing with the required data, so we will create recurring invoices. We create recurring invoices. We'll see now. Go to our implementation project. You can find task from here also. Payables calendar. Manage payables calendars. Click on create. Take the name as Alt INC. Recurring purpose we are creating. Select calendar type as a general purpose. And what is the frequency we want to create? Recurring invoices, select quarterly once or monthly or weekly. Monthly we want to create recurring invoice and select the start date, John 1st, and generate periods. Okay, these are the periods we created. Here no adjustment periods. Save and close. So by using this payables calendar, means within the payables calendar we have required intervals. We will be able to create the recurring invoice. Now go to invoice workbench. Payables, invoices. Go to task list. Here is the task. create recurring invoices. Click on create recurring invoices and click on enable editing. Okay, establish the connection between our instance and this spreadsheet. Say yes and provide login credentials. Skip. So select business unit. Alt INC, US business unit. Invoice number. So whatever the number you enter here, that would become prefix for the invoices what system will create. So I'm giving prefix as RI, means recurring invoice. System will use this number as a prefix only. That is the reason I'm giving as RI. Automatically system will generate the number based on the prefix what we are giving. Say 5,000. Provide supplier details. You can give supplier name or supplier number. Any one of the field you have to provide the data. Here you can notice we have a two star marks. If you have a two star marks, at least one is required. Select supplier, Alt IMC, corporation. Select supplier type, supplier site. The site name we given. Corp will be given. Select. Just I'm searching does not equal to at the rate of. Okay, other than this, anything is there, it will come. And invoice currency, I want to create invoice in USD, payment currency also USD. Here we need to select calendar name. Okay, we have to select the payables calendar. Double click. Search. Select. Now we want to create recurring invoices for how many periods? Okay, for how many periods we want to create the recurring invoices that we have to specify. As per this recurring or say payables calendar, we have to select the range of the periods. So we want to select periods Jan 24 to select Jan 24 and we want to create recurring invoices only for 4 periods. Here you can give April month. Select. Done. So this template, okay, this spreadsheet, or you can call as template also. You can reuse this. That is the reason you can call as template. So will help us to create a recurring invoices for 4 months. So we selected calendar as per calendar we are selecting. If you create the payables calendar weekly intervals, here you can select the week ranges. Enter amount. This is going to be line amount 5,000. And provide distribution account code combination or select distribution set. If you don't select distribution set or combination, still system will process. There you can select whatever the information required. Done. We provided required information. Now, based on these details, we can create recurring invoices. Click on generate. Just click on generate. Say OK. Here is the confirmation. The number of recurring invoices created 4. Say OK. Now go to instance, refresh invoice creation page. The recent, you can see 4 invoices. We given invoice number as RI. That system is taking as a prefix and created RI 1, 2, 3, 4. Now RI 1 invoice is belongs to current month. Okay, current month. I can go on to validate it. Then I can just process the payment as per payment terms. RI2. This invoice belongs to Feb. So I want to validate this Feb invoice. Yes, I'm able to validate. So RI1 invoices belongs to current period. RI2 invoices belongs to future enterable period. Future enterable. That is the status of these Jan and Feb statuses. Now RI3 is belongs to March month. March 1st. By default, okay, it creates with the first date of the month. You can change also. So whenever you get the real invoice from the electricity department or whatever the internet service you are taking, accordingly you can change this. Now I'm trying to validate this invoice. It is not belongs to current period or future enterable period. Okay, future enterable period. Try to validate. So this invoice is not current or future enterable. So you are not able to validate. Needs revalidation. You cannot validate now. The period should be open or else the period status should be future enterable. Then you can validate and will be able to process. So again, if you want to create invoices by using the same, here I can just change invoice number prefix as A. And again, I can generate. Click on generate. Say OK. This you can save as a template. You can just keep this template on your desktop or in your machine. You will be able to generate. Again, 4 invoices are created. Just go back to the instance, refresh this page. Now total 8 invoices. So 4 invoices created as a 1, 2, 3, 4. So whatever you enter in the template, that system will take as a prefix, and the number of invoices it will include in the invoice number along with the prefix. So this is how we can create a recurring invoice. This you can use as a template. You can use, or else we can change the supplier details and you can change the amount, and you will be able to create invoice quickly. And at a time, you can create invoices for multiple periods. Here we selected only 4 periods. You may select 6 or 10 or entire month also, year also. So that's all about a recurring invoice concept. Okay, we have to create the payables calendar. We have to prepare the recurring invoice template, and you can auto generate the recurring invoices.
Lakshman, question: if the recurring invoices are created in large numbers, do we
Hmm.
need to go invoice by invoice and create validation, or there is a
No, no,
validation
no. We
running
can
program?
we can run a validation program that I just plan to cover as a part of PD close. So what you can do is you can go here and you have a validate invoices. Okay. If you run this program, it will pick all the invoices which are not validated. It will attempt to validate. Yep,
Thank you.
you can do that. Not only that, accounting also we can do, but those all we'll see later. Now we are going one by one transaction, so we are not touching that.
Sir, one question.
Yeah.
Sir, this frequency is like monthly. For example, we are paying the bill, electricity bill payment monthly. So that is why we chose the frequency as monthly,
Correct,
right?
correct.
While creating the
Yes,
payables calendar.
yes. If it is
Okay.
weekly, create payables calendar with the weekly. And here you can select weekly also. You will be able to create weekly. As
Okay.
per
In
the,
calendar only, basically, we have to select, right? One place,
exactly,
just calendar.
exactly. In payables calendar only.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure. Thank
Right.
you.
That's one. We can
Yeah.
create multiple payables calendars, right?
Yes, you can create. Yes. If you have a requirement of creating weekly, quarterly, okay,
Oh,
monthly, yes, you can create. Whenever you prepare this template, you can change it.
oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Lakshman.
Yeah. Select appropriate and you can select the range of the periods. Those could be weekly or quarterly or monthly. We can maintain and we can use in the template. Fine. So third party payments. First, what does it mean by third party? In the business, if we are acting as a customers, if we are using payables means we are procuring, we are customers, we will have our supplier. So primarily, two parties are involved in the business. Okay, any typical business transaction, two parties involvement we can see. We as a customer, and other side our supplier. So two parties are there. Who is third party? Say you purchased some goods from your supplier and you have to make the payment to your supplier. But what your supplier is saying is, you please send the payment to Mr. X or XYZ organization. So here third party is involved. When we get invoice from our supplier, we have to make the payment to our supplier only. Instead of making the payment to our supplier, if you are going to make the payment to other party, that party we call as third party. The third party may be our supplier's supplier, because our supplier should make the payment to so and so organization. Instead of making payment, our supplier is asking us to send the payment to our supplier, or else it could be like this. So our supplier appointed collection agency to collect the payments from their customers. So our supplier can inform us, just you can send the payment, you can remit the payment to our collection agency or collection kind of organization, whatever it may be you call. So that is a case where we have to remit the payment to other party that we call as third party payments. Here we'll take the kind of use case. Say we create invoice. We are going to create invoice with supplier called as Alt IRC. I think we have as a corporation. And we will remit payment. You send the payment to, we'll create supplier as a X Alt IRC collections. Okay. So we are going to create one more supplier to remit the payment to remit for the invoices which are belongs to this supplier. To test this, create supplier called X Alt IRC collection, call it as collection agency or any name you can take. Okay, collection agency and create relationship between the suppliers, or else 1 second. Here you can take this as a second step. Before that, we set something at DU level. Say enable, okay, enable third party payments at invoice and payment options. So there will be separate checkboxes. Okay. Allow third party override at invoice and payment options level. We'll just do it and we'll discuss where it will impact, those will facilitate. So first we'll go on to set this third party payment related options in the invoice and payment options. Okay, there will be separate checkboxes we'll set. Then we'll create the supplier whom we have to remit the payment. We'll create invoice with this supplier, but we'll send the payment to another party, third party. And the system by default, it won't allow us to send payment to another party. If you create invoice with one supplier, you have to send the payment to the same supplier. But we want to send the payment to another supplier, another party. For that, we have to create the relationship between these two suppliers, saying if any invoice is created with this supplier, payment can be remitted to this supplier. That sort of relationship we have to create between these two suppliers. So that we will go and set up. Say create third party relationship between these two suppliers. Create third party relationship. After completing all the setups, create invoice with one supplier, and since you have a relationship between these two suppliers, system will allow us to remit the payment to collection agency. We'll see in the system. First, we have to enable relevant checkboxes in the invoice and payment options. Search for invoice options. Manage invoice options. Select business unit. Select and say save and close. In the invoice option, under invoice entry section, we have one checkbox called allow remit to supplier override for third party payments. Enable it. Why we are enabling, we'll understand when you create invoice. Okay, just enable it. Allow remit to supplier override. By default, you can remit the payment to our invoice supplier, but we want to override for third-party payments. Say save and close. And payment options. Go to payment options and enable the checkbox. Allow pay override for third-party payments. And say save and close. That means invoice and payment options level we enable at the time of invoice creation as well as payment creation. We will be able to select that invoice related payment you want to process to whom. Done. Create one more supplier to execute this use case. Okay. Go to supplier page, or else directly from here also you can navigate procurement suppliers. Go to task list, create supplier. Supplier name is, as we discussed, X Alt IRC collection agency. The relationship spend authorized, type say corporation, create. Okay, profile created, create address. Select country. Select postal code. Set no ordering. We are not going to place any orders to this, only for payment. Select remit to, save and close. Go to sites, create site for address. So provide site name and save. Under invoicing tab, provide default invoice and payment currencies. Both can be same or different also. Already we have seen cross currency payments. So select any one of the payment method as a default and click on auto create assignments. The site will be assigned to RBU. So save and close. Now we created supplier. Now we need to create relationship between these two suppliers. We are going to get invoice from which supplier. We have to go to that supplier record. From that supplier, you can create the relationship with another supplier. Now, invoice we are going to get from which supplier, go to that supplier. So, invoice we are going to get from Alt IMC Corporation. Go to the same supplier. Okay. Alt IRC Corporation, edit. And go to sites, click on edit and go to invoicing tab. Under invoicing tab, if you scroll a little down, here we could see third party payment relationship. Just click on add, select supplier name, whom you want to remit payment if you get invoice from this supplier. If you get invoice from Alt INC Corporation, that supplier related invoices payments you want to process to which supplier. Select collection agency and select address here. Okay, with this supplier you are not going to create invoice, so site is not required. Address is enough. Okay, you don't need to select the site and select it is effective from when, today or as previous date you can choose. Say save and close. That's all. This is what we call as creating third party relationship. We can add multiple third party suppliers for this supplier. Okay, possible. Say your supplier has 3 collection agencies. Okay, your supplier can inform you to remit the payment to the collection agency 1 or 2 or 3. So in those scenarios, you have to add those 3 also. If supplier is giving the instruction to us to send the payment to specific collection agency or specific party, those all we have to add as a third party relation in the third party relationship list. Done. So we enabled relevant checkboxes in the invoice and payment options. We created third party supplier and also we create relationship. Now we'll go and create the invoice with our standard supplier.
Just one quick question.
Yep.
In the relationships, though we create the relationship, is it mandatory that we need to use the same remit to supplier as a
Not
one or
required. Not required. Okay. So
Right.
you have a relationship. If your supplier says to send, you can send or else you can ignore. We are going to see that. Just we
Okay.
create a relationship. Yep. Fine.
Sir,
Create
one more
invoice.
question.
Yeah.
Like while we were creating this new supplier, no third party supplier, so inside we are giving that alt INC, but we should be giving that X alt INC, right, in the
Correct,
site.
correct. Just that is text we are entering anything. Anyway, supply name is different, right?
Okay,
You are
okay.
right.
Oh,
Just anything, just we are using alt INC. That is the reason I given alt INC. Yes, you can give as a the real address of that third party.
okay, okay.
Yeah, fine. Okay. So the number. And say 10,000. Now, okay, just submit this invoice for validation. Okay, the invoice number already we have. Validate. Okay. Now we got information from our supplier saying that we need to remit this invoice related payment to their collection agency. Okay, you have to remit the payment to their collection agency. So in that case, go to invoice actions, go to manage installments. So within the invoice options, we enabled one checkbox. Allow remit to supplier override for third party payments. Because of the checkbox here, third party section is enabled. Now you will be able to select for this invoice, you want to remit the payment to whom? You can select here. Now, if you go and run the PPR, payment process request, system will print the check with this supplier name on. If you run the PPR, system will select. No, you are not running the PPR. You don't need to select this supplier information here. Whenever you create the payment, there you have to select to print the check with the remitter supplier name. We'll go to payment workbench. Task list, create payment. When you select Alt INC Corporation, this supplier has a relationship with the third party. So that you can select here. The third party will become payee. So if whatever you select here, with this name, system will print the check. Okay, system will print the check with this name only. So, so this is how just you can select it. Again, it is not mandatory. So you don't want to pay to third party. Have a relationship, but you don't want to pay. You spoke to the supplier, supplier again just informed no need to pay to third party. Already we given the information, but not required. Then ignore this pay information. Since the supplier got relationship, we create a relationship. That is the reason these additional fields we are able to see. If you want to pay to third party, select third party name here. And rest of information as it is, we have to enter. Select invoice. Okay. The pay specified on the payment details tab is different from the pay is specified on one or more selected installments. Still, do you want to continue? Yes. Yes. Third party relationship is there. That is the reason we are selecting and say okay. Okay. So here pay is collection agency, but invoices belongs to Alt IRC Corporation. Record the payment by clicking on save and close. Now system will create the payment file that already we have seen. If you go and open the file, within the file, the payee name would be there. Okay, collection agency name would be the payment file. Accordingly, you can print and you can send the check. So that is the process of third party payments. Okay, third party payment means instead of giving payment to your supplier, you will be remitting the payment to another party based on your supplier instruction. We'll see invoice holds. So when you create invoice, if anything wrong with invoice, say header line distribution amount is not matching, then system will place the hold when you try to validate the invoice. Okay, system will place the hold. So go to invoice workbench. Better you can open one more tab. Go to invoice workbench. Just here you can find. You have invoices. Okay. Here is invoice. I'm selecting RI1 invoice, which is validated. Okay. Now this invoice is validated. and I can place the hold. If I'm creating invoice with different amounts, okay, header level already just this invoice we created. Say if you are creating invoice like this, header level amount you are giving 4,000. Of course, we created. You take example, and when you try to validate it, system will identify there is a difference. This is already validated. That is the reason that is a message. But if you are creating like this, and if you submit for validation, system will place this invoice on hold by giving the status as needs revalidation. Now this invoice already created, so there is no challenge, it's validated. Now the point is, if you want to place this invoice on hold, you can do that. One is system can place the hold, or else better will create. Let's create one invoice. Click on create. Supplier is Alt INC. $1,000. So by mistake, user entered 100 ohm. Now submit invoice for validation. System will place the hold. Needs revalidation. Click on the same status. Okay, click on the same status. Now you can see system hold. System placed on hold. That hold is related to line variance. There is a variance within the line compared to invoice header. Now click on any one of the hold. Both are same. So click on system holds. The line variance. The reason is the total of invoice lines does not equal to invoice amount. Okay, the total of invoice lines does not equal invoice amount. This is a violation. Okay, so you cannot validate this invoice until unless you correct it. I'm trying to release that hold. Okay, here is the hold. Here is the release section. I want to release it. We cannot release. By giving some good reason, you may try to release it. I'm just giving the reason. The invoice I reviewed, no issues, you accept. System is saying you cannot manually release this type of hold. Resolve the hold condition by resubmitting. Before that, you have to correct. So you cannot release it because this is a policy violation. Header line and distribution amount should be same. Say I realize that header amount is wrong, line amount is correct. Now I'll make it as 100 and I'll resubmit for validation. Validated. So this is how just you can submit invoice for validation. In case of any hold, you can correct and all. Now again, manually I want to place the hold. This invoice is validated and we have some issue with the supplier. And I want to place the hold on this invoice. Go to actions, go to manage holds, add hold. Your system released automatically, variance corrected and invoice variance corrected. That is the reason it got released. Now I want to place hold through manual process. What is the reason? You can specify the reason. Okay. So any reason you can give, like you have an issue with some price of that invoice. Okay. And say save and close. When you place the hold on the invoice, the status turn into needs revalidation. Now, if you want to make the payment, you cannot make. You must validate the invoice before it can be paid. Reality, invoice validated, but we placed hold. Whenever you place the hold, system will update the status as a needs revalidation. So now manually you can go to holds, manage holds, and we placed hold. Okay, it's a manual hold. Manual holds can be released manually. I'll say like there is no issue with the supplier and all. We got some updates. Okay, supplier updates, etc. That you can give the reason, release reason, and say save and close. It will get released. Now this is available for payment. Okay. So here, if you go to manage holds, if you click on add, what are the hold reasons and release reasons we are finding here? These all Oracle is providing. Okay, few hold reasons and release reasons Oracle is providing. Apart from this, we can create our own reasons. Our own hold reasons and release reasons we can create. Okay, we'll see how to create. Search for invoice holds and releases. The task is manage invoice holds and releases. Click on this task. So here you could see all the holds and hold reasons and release reasons. It's all Oracle providing the predefined. Now we can create our own. Click on add. The type is invoice hold reason. The name. So you can say some X I am giving instead of giving alt and all. So X, say issue with supplier. If you place the hold, any invoice on hold, whether accounting is allowed or manually that can be released, you can specify here. Say, yes, even invoice is placed on hold. We want to create accounting and that invoice can be released through manual process. Specify and say, save and close. One release reason, one hold reason we created. We'll create one release reason. Click on add and create invoice release reason. X issue resolved. Maybe you can write as issue resolved with the supplier. And say save and close. Now go to save invoice. Go to manage holds. You can find the hold reason and release reason whatever you created. X issue with the supplier. Save and close. Now you cannot make the payment for this invoice. Status is needs revalidation. And you can release the hold. Go to manage holds. Select reason. Issue resolved. Save and close. Now status is validated. It is available for payment. So this is how system can place the hold and system can release. When system can place, if something wrong with that invoice information, system can place. Typically, if invoice header line distribution amounts are not same, it places the hold. And whenever you do the correction, system can release the hold. The other option is we can place the hold and we can release it. Apart from these two options, you can set rule in the system. You can set rule in the system for our entire business unit level. Go to invoice options. The invoice options level enable checkbox called hold unmatched invoices. You are telling to the system within this business unit, if any invoice user is going to create without any PO information. Hold unmatched means without matching with the PO. If you create invoice without PO, system will place the hold. Save and close. Okay. So 99% invoices are created with the PO information only. Okay. From where we don't get any PO information, there only we create invoices. Take example, electricity bill. We don't get any We don't raise any PO to electricity department. Directly you get the bill, so there won't be any PO. Such kind of invoices directly you can create in the payables. 99% invoices we create based on the PO information. We'll see that as a part of P2P cycle. Now, we'll go and create an invoice. We have a rule defined within this business unit. Invoice, if anybody is going to create invoice without PO information, here is the PO field. Okay, without PO, system will place the hold.
Lakshman, I have a question.
Please. Please.
Yeah, without PO, like PO, if you enter that PO information is mandatory, right? If you enable this option, we need to enter a PO for every invoice.
It is not like we have to enter.
Okay.
If you set that rule, system will place the hold. Someone can review. Okay. Someone can review what invoice are placed on hold. They will do the double check.
Okay.
Yeah. So double check. Even PO information is not there, you will be able to process it. That's what we are going to see now. It will just place the
Okay.
hold. Further, how you are planning, whether you are going to just force to get the PO information or else you want to review twice, how exactly. It will look for PO. It's not like 100% mandatory. PO is not there, it will place the hold. Then you can take the action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. It's not mandatory, just it will look for PO. If not there, it will place hold. Right. Now, submit this invoice for validation. There is a rule, right? Okay, this is okay, like it is identifying as a duplicate. No, not duplicate invoice. Okay. So here status is needs revalidation. Click on needs revalidation. You can see the reason. System hold. System placed on hold. It's nothing related to your installment or line variance or distribution variance or nothing related to supplier side. So click on system hold. Okay. The first one, ignore it. Treat it as a duplicate invoice since all the details are matching. Again, we submitted for validation, validated. This is the one which you have to understand. Matching is required. The invoice is not matched to any PO. System placed hold. Now I can just verify the hold. Okay, which invoice, which supplier, okay. This invoice, okay, we can pay. It's internet expenses. So we never create any PO for this sort of expenses and I want to release it. Or anything I can say. Yes, I verified once again. So save and close, accept it. Okay. So it will place on hold and you can take the action. It's not mandatory PO is required, but we are setting the rule. If not available, place hold. Later I'll take decision. Okay, we'll take the decision how to proceed further. Now, whatever we are setting in the invoice options level, this is applicable for all the suppliers. Any supplier it is applicable. Entire BU level. Within this BU, any invoice you create with any supplier, this rule is applicable. Now I don't want to set this rule. I want to set this rule for specific supplier. Yes, we can set. I want to set this rule for specific supplier. Go to our supplier. Go to sites. Click on edit. Okay, click on edit. Now, we want to set some controls at site level where if no PO information for the invoices, whatever you create only with this site. Okay. only with this site. We are not setting entire supplier level, also site level. System should place the hold. Payment hold controls. Hold all invoices. Why? Validation or verification required. And we have other options also. Hold unmatched invoices. Here also you can set only if you create any invoice with this supplier side, if it is not created based on the PO, hold, place the hold, or else hold unvalidated invoices. Unvalidated invoices means we have one concept. We'll be working on it. The concept name is scanned images or invoice imaging solution, or this you can call as IDR. Okay. So we'll see this when we are working on that, we can understand. We can create invoices. So we can create invoices in the payables based on the scanned images. When you create invoice based on the scanned image, the invoice status would be incomplete. Okay, unvalidated. Invoice status would be unvalidated. I can complete. For those invoices, if you want to place hold, that you can set here separately. Here everything you can turn off. Here you can turn on. Only unvalidated invoices. Unvalidated invoice means invoices which are coming from IDR source. Okay, scanned image source. For those only it would be applicable. That we will see. Now we are setting hold all invoices if anything you create with this site. And reason also system should display. So this reason system will display to the business users. Say save and close. Save and close. Done. Okay. Now create invoice. So save and create next. There is no rule for amount. Any amount you can enter. So the site level, we have a condition. Place all invoices on hold. Submit for validation. One second, we saved it right. Go to invoicing tab. Hold all invoices. Yes. Nothing. These are nothing anyway. We are not. We didn't set anything. See here, default from payables option. This is Oracle didn't correct it. It's as per EBS we call as payable options. Since they copied the solution, it is a payable. This ideally is common options. Okay. Sorry, invoice options. Whatever is there in the invoice options that can be copied, the same will be applicable. But anyway, there also we don't have anything. Even if you no need to set no for this, I think it should work. I think we'll just what we can do is we'll cancel this page and we'll reopen. It should place the hold. Finding as a duplicate and submit once again. It should place the hold. What's wrong with this? Okay. So that is a functional. It is not functioning. Okay. Ideally, it should stop. Okay. So it's not functioning. Okay. So just that's what you have to understand. In this environment, it's not working. You try for it. I'll just remove. Later, it may start triggering. Fine. So this is how you can set the manual manual holds are automatically. System also can place the holds based on the configuration what you are doing.
And it goes to payment hold, right? It's not invoice hold.
Sorry?
In your example, what you have shown,
No, 1 second. So payment hold means, so it won't allow you to make the payment. That is the meaning of payment hold.
right? Whereas now, when we try to validate it, it should put on hold for the invoice itself. So it should be invoice hold, not a payment hold.
No. You test it in our instance. Okay. That is the meaning of it. They give a name like that. Means it will prevent you from payment. When? Because if hold is this hold is there, it will invoice status will turn into never validated. Okay, that's how it works, that function. Okay. So you don't have separate hold like invoice hold and payment hold. It's when you place the hold on the invoice, it will impact on the payment. You test what are the instance access you have, it will work. Fine. So that's all about the story of holds. Now we'll see the supplier refund. See the supplier refund. Here just for our information. When you talk about invoice holds, we have a manual holds and the system holds. Okay. So apart from that, we have seen how to create the holds and hold regions.
Create holds.
And release regions. Yeah, these are the points we should aware. So we can place the hold manually and we can release the hold manually. And system can place the hold. Even system is placing the hold, we can release, or else if system is placing, system should release. If you take an example, header information is not matching with the line, then system will place the hold. Who can release? Only system, because there is a policy violation. All should be same. And we enable hold all invoices which are not matched with the PO. System placed a hold. Even system is placing the hold, we were able to release it. So apart from that, with the different reasons, you place the holds, all you can create as a hold reasons. With what reasons you may release the holds, those you can call as release reasons. Quite done. Supply refund. So we created prepayment. Take the same case. So we issued 25,000 advance to supplier and we utilized 10,000, still 15,000 with the supplier, and we are not going to purchase anything from that supplier. Now we want to get that amount back as a refund. Now, so within your prepayment, you have 15,000. So what you can do in the system is, you can create one credit memo. How much supplier has to pay? 15,000. With the 15,000, create one credit memo. So when you create the standard invoice, positive amount, it means it says we have to pay to that supplier. That is the meaning of standard invoice. If you create any standard invoice with any supplier, it means we are liable to that supplier. If you create any invoice with a negative side, it's a reverse case. That supplier has to pay us. We have seen how to create the debit and credit memos, but those we have seen for correction point of. Okay. Correction standpoint, we have seen how to create. Now I'm not talking about correction. Creating credit memo as a standalone. Directly I'll go and create credit memo. It means this amount supplier has to pay us. When we are going to create the credit memo, if you enter with a minus 15,000, it means supplier has to pay. On the other side, already we have 15,000 within the prepayment. So the same prepayment amount supplier is going to refund. That is the reason we are recording in our system credit memo. If you want to open the credit memo, first we have to close this 15,000, or else as per our records, 15,000 is available to the supplier, as well as another record says 15,000 supplier has to pay, total 30 with that supplier. So if you want to open the credit memo, when you get confirmation from the supplier as supplier is going to pay us as a refund, we have to close this 15,000. Okay, we have to close this 15,000. To close this 15,000, what we have to do is we have to create dummy invoice. Okay, create dummy invoice with the 15,000 and apply prepayment. Apply prepayment. Whatever the prepayment is available, okay, that applies. So that prepayment amount will become 0. Now, if you record credit memo with the same supplier, it makes sense. You are just recording, you are opening the 15,000 amount with the supplier as supplier has to pay us. Now, we record the credit memo in our books. It means the supplier has to pay. Whenever the supplier will pay, we will record the payment for credit memo. Record payment for credit memo. Already we have seen how to record the payment for credit memo, but the difference is we recorded payment for debit and credit memo along with that invoice to reduce the amount. But here, standalone credit memo we are going to record. So when we are recording the payment for credit memo, there we specify this is not any other payment which we are giving to supplier. This is a payment from supplier itself. Okay, so that we'll see the system. So this use cases already exist. Only we are going to create dummy invoice and we'll apply the prepayment which is available. Then with the same amount, we'll create one credit memo with a negative sign and we'll see how that refund can be received from the supplier. It is not a standard solution. Oracle is not providing any standard solution for refund. It is a workaround. How you want to play the game to knock off those prepayment amounts, to show in your books how much supplier is going to pay, how you are receiving, that you can have a own preparation of recording the transactions. Only Oracle providing the payment type as a refund. When you create the payment, we have a type there, they are giving the name as refund. The rest all you can plan how you want to proceed. Fine. Now, so we'll go and create one dummy invoice. Okay, we'll go and create one dummy invoice. Say Alt INC Corporation. I'm giving the number as dummy. How much? 15,000. So in the dummy invoice, we have to select specific account. Okay, don't use any distribution set. The dummy invoice plus in the credit memo, you have to use the same account. Okay, you have to use the same account. So we are going to knock off that. Because whatever you enter the dummy invoice, the same account will be used in credit memo. As per dummy invoice, the distribution account is debit. As per credit memo, distribution account is credit. Here debit, here credit. That's how it will get knocked off. We'll see that. So here, provide some refund related account. You may create supplier refund. refund account would be there as a part of accounts what we loaded through rapid implementation. Select refund. Say okay. Validate. Now we have a prepayment here. 15,000 available. So apply the prepayment on this dummy invoice, then prepayment amount will become 0. But reality we have with our supplier that you can open in our system with a credit memo as supplier confirmed as going to pay as a refund. Apply or unapply prepayments. Select, click on apply. Click on done. Submit for validation. Validated, there is no prepayment. That invoice supplier number level, there is no bell icon since no prepayment. But reality we have prepayment with the supplier. Reality we have prepayment with the supplier. Now, to record in our books as supplier has to pay 15,000, maybe in the form of refund. That is the next step. So we have to show in our books our supplier has to pay 15,000 to us. To record that, create credit memo. What purpose we are creating credit memo? For refund. The same I am giving the name here. Refund. Refund 1. So amount, how much? Minus 15,000. We are going to create credit memo. You should enter negative sign. Select type as credit memo and go to lines. Select same account whatever we selected. Minus 15,000 and refund account. Click on search. Just now we created code combination with the same account. Click on search. It will display the same. Use it. So in the dummy invoice, whatever the distribution you enter, distribution account that would get debited. Credit memo means reverse. It's in this account, it would be credited. That's how this account will get knocked off. Now submit for validation. So by seeing this invoice, this we are not creating for any correction. So correction, how to do that already we have seen. We have to go to correct and match invoices and this distribution will be copied from the original invoice. That's how we already tested. Now this is not a correction. Directly we are creating the standalone credit memo without relating to any other invoices. So based on this, we have to understand 15,000 this supplier has to pay. Yes, that is true. Today supplier paid. We have to record in the system as paid. Go to payment workbench, create payment. Who paid? Who paid? That select here, Alt INC, corporation. And are we paying or receiving? If you are paying, you can use quick. If you want to print the check, say already you given the check outside of the system, you don't want to print the check from system, then you can select manual. It is not all about making the payment through system or outside of the system. It's all about receiving payment. It's a refund. Okay, refund. Once you select refund, fields also will be changed. See, these all are just the fields is pay and all, nothing it will display. And here also it will change certain see refund. Okay, since it's a refund, okay, you no need to give the payment documents and all because you are not paying, you are receiving refund. Okay. The whatever supplier is going to pay, that amount you want to take into which account? how you are planning. Supplier may give check, you want to deposit into which bank account. Okay, so that you have to select here. You want to take that first supplier payment into this. How supplier is paying, that you select as a payment method. So supplier is paying through check. What is the check number supplier given to us? This is a check number. And how much supplier paid? That you select whatever the credit memo you created. Okay. So type is refund, negative amount, save and close. This is what we call as refund from supplier. Okay, this is how you can manage. There is no standard functionality to handle. You have to go with workaround of closing prepayment amount. And again, to address how much you are receiving, you have to create the credit memo. Once you receive the payment from supplier, so you have to record the refund, payment for refund. Okay, recording payment for debit or credit memo you can call as refund. Ideally, we use credit memo. Even if you use debit memo, also nothing wrong. So you may record the payment, standalone debit or credit memo that is treated as a refund, supplier refund. That's all about supplier refund functionality. Fine. We'll see aging periods. Okay, we'll see aging periods. So aging means, what does it mean by aging?
Past due.
Sorry?
Past due payments.
Yeah. Age means, yes, we can treat as a past due. Age means it could be any age, like it's all about time. So you may want to find out, yes, past due invoices, or you may want to find out current due invoices. You may want to find out future due invoices. You want to find out the age of invoice. Okay, so that age, how you are going to measure based on the due date, past or current or future. Based on the due date, you want to measure, okay, what is the past, how many invoice falling under past due or current due or future due. So simply you can say aging periods are nothing but time periods. Time periods which talks about unpaid invoices. Okay, what it will do? It will talk about unpaid invoices. Unpaid invoices means not only past, it could be past
Correct.
or current or future. Okay, we have unpaid invoices. You want to understand in coming 1 month, how many unpaid invoices we are going to have, or else today, how many unpaid invoices we have, which has a today's due date. Okay, how many unpaid invoices we have for last 10 days, which should be paid, which not paid. Any unpaid invoice, current, future, or past, any you can find out with the concept called as aging periods. Aging periods are nothing but time periods. With the help of aging periods, you can find out current, past, future unpaid invoices as per the alignment which we do, that you can create as a periods. Simply we'll create the aging periods, means you can call them as buckets also. So accordingly you'll run the report so that system will fetch the results as we require. Let's see how to create those. Go to setups. Here you can do setups from project or from here, nothing wrong. So already our primary ledger is tagged in the project. That is enough to create a configuration packages. If you want to copy setups, primary ledger need to be tagged. That is important part. Fine. Here, search for aging periods. Manage aging periods. Click on create. I'm giving X, or else you can give Alt INC. Okay. So X aging. So column. Okay, it will be represented in the report. Okay, so from and to, just place the cursor, you will have a description for it. Enter negative number to report payment due within the certain number of days. Enter positive number to report overdue invoices. Okay, if I give 1 to 5 days, how many invoices falling under due in the last 1 to 5 days which are not yet paid, it will display. If I give negative sign in coming 1 to 5 days, how many invoices we have to pay, that system will display. If I give 0, it will display the current due invoices. Okay, current due invoices. We'll see that. Okay. So I'm giving 1 to 5 and 6 to 6 to 10. And future means, okay, future means always we have to give it the negative sign. I'm just giving like future, any future invoices. 0 also I'm giving. 0 means current due, and this is a future. Or else you can give the range for future only. How you require you can give. I want to have one more column. Okay. Fine, that's okay. So 11 to 30. Now this is how we are giving. Okay, this is how we are giving. So by using this aging, we will run the report. When you run the report, as per these ranges, system will display the data. So what column name you require in the report, that you can specify here. Okay, that you can specify. So you can specify 1 to 5 past due. This is how column name should be displayed. Under that column, how many invoices are there which are falling under 1 to 5 days past due, system will display. Here it should display 6 to 10 days past due. This is how I need column in the report. This you can say current and future. Okay, or simply you can say current. Current means which need to be paid today. And future also, if you have any invoices which you created with the net 30, 45, 50 or whatever it may. And here another column 11 to 11 to 30 or 60, whatever we enter. Okay, first and the second column, 2 columns also you can have. Here you can say past, current. Here you can specify past, which date, range and all. You may give a second column. Both will be displayed in the report. So this is how just you can create aging period. This period we will use as one of the parameter when you run the reports. So go to tools and scheduled processes. Tools and scheduled processes. Okay. So click on schedule new process. Search for a report called as invoice aging report. Okay, payables invoice aging report. What it will do, it will list out unpaid invoices according to specified aging periods. If it is a past, only past unpaid, current, future. Say okay. Select our business unit. And when system will generate the report to display unpaid invoices, how you want to display the relevant data. Sort invoices by supplier or invoice type. Include invoice details. You want to see invoice details, more information, yes. Or else it will show just some number and all. So, and include supplier site in the details. Yes, system should display that the site information also. And here you can select aging period. As per which aging period, system should generate this aging report. X aging, that is the name we given. Submit. Refresh. Now the status is succeeded. Select the same report. Select same report, scroll little down. And here you can click on republish. Click on the gear icon, export, open in the PDF format. Scroll little down, you can see these are the periods we created. Okay, so 1 to 5, 6 to 10, and current also we created, and 11 to 30. You can create in the proper sequence. I just given like this. So 11 to 30 you can create. Finally, you may create current, or else first you create current and follow the sequence of all past. So for this corporation, okay, so system is displaying what invoices we have here. You see here, these are all the invoices. So 1 to 5 days past, how many invoices we have? 6 to 10 days, which invoices? These are the all invoices which need to be paid in between 6 to 10 days past itself. Current, these all are invoices falling on the current date. Okay. And these are the current and future. This is current and future. Okay. Current and future. And 11 to 30 days past, we have something, nothing we have. Yes, we didn't start creating invoices 11 to 30 days back itself. And for other suppliers also, withholding tax it is showing. Okay, we had to pay 6 to 10 days back itself, 10,000. So how many days late? 7 days. Okay, days due, 7 days ago we have to pay. In the same way, days due, these many days. Okay, these are falling under this range. 6 to 10 means here, these all are 9, which are 9, 8, 7, all are falling under this bucket. So these, so 0 days, okay. So 0 days, that is the reason current. Minus 22, you have to pay after 22 days. So that is coming in the current and future. This all are after 22 days we have to pay, 22 days. This is after 51 days we have to pay. Because A3, we created A3 means it is not for John, it is for March. Okay, March invoice, recurring invoice we created, right? Is how many days? After 51 days we have to pay 5,000. So this is how you can create the aging periods, and we can use that aging periods when you run the aging report, invoice aging report, to find out unpaid invoices as we require. Fine.
Lakshman,
We are creating.
currently, based on the due date, the aging is getting calculated, right?
It could be
Sys date
anything.
minus.
Just it will show like how much outstanding we have.
Okay. The date instead of due date, can we calculate the aging by GL date?
Aging by GL date.
Hmm.
No, GL date is not accounting date. It doesn't make any sense. Aging means based on your base term date only, it will calculate the due date. It will take your term date and invoice, right?
Yeah.
Invoice, when you create invoice, here is the term date. This is the base date. Immediate means how many days? Okay, whatever you select. So from this date, 10 days it will calculate. So one system will calculate whatever system will display in the installments level. That date it will take as a measurement, not GL date or some other date. It doesn't make any sense. That is for accounting purpose. Your GL date or you call as accounting date. Here we don't call a GL date. The system point of view, they are giving name as a accounting date. Accounting date is nothing but your GL date. There is no like connection, right? Accounting, when you do accordingly, you will calculate the due date and all. No. Fine.
Okay.
If the report is downloaded in Excel, can we do a drill down?
Sorry?
If the report is published in Excel format, can we do a drill down?
No. Report drill down, no. Report drill down, we don't have. Okay. See, think report generated means we'll download the report, right? Is there any connection between the instance and this? Getting?
Yeah.
Report is we are downloading, means we are disconnecting. If it is inside of instance, you can think through, drill down. If it is not instance, we are extracting from instance, we are separating with some file. That's how it is. If it is there inside of the system, when you are acquiring the balances, etc., since it is there, it should have a reference connection to drill down. Yeah, fine. So that's all for today. We'll connect tomorrow and we'll pick few other items and we'll proceed.